Thank you, Jane. Hello and welcome to Wednesday's Look North. Coming up on the programme tonight, the anger of a bereaved mother. A Leeds funeral director kept her baby's body at home.
I was screaming down the phone, it's mucky, it's dirty, he can't stay here.
Also coming up tonight, farmers and locals join the front line to try and save property and halt the devastating fire on the North York moors. With days of August left, the leaves are turning brown. Is this autumn coming out already? And last night we rocked out with the wedding present. Tonight on Look North, we shall be rocking with the Queens of the Stone Age who are in Sheffield.
Well, it's quite a rare sight, but most of us saw at least some rain this afternoon, and it does look unsettled over the next few days. Join me for the detailed forecast.
Hello there, thanks for your company. A warning that our top story this evening is a little distressing and contains details of baby loss. An exclusive investigation by BBC Yorkshire has found that a self-styled funeral director from Leeds has been barred from NHS mortuaries and maternity wards in the city because of concerns about her keeping babies' bodies at her home. Leeds teaching hospitals say they banned Amy Upton early this year after complaints about her conduct. With this full investigation, here's Anna Crossley.
Why would another woman take another woman's deceased baby to their house?
At the time, it was just me thinking, this is absolutely crazy.
I just wanted it to stop, and I didn't want another family to go through what I'd been through. I think he's beautiful. I wonder what I'd be now with him.
Zoe Ward's son, Blue, was just 3 weeks old when he died at Leeds General Infirmary in 2021. Zoe's details were passed on to Amy Upton by a friend who'd heard about Amy's baby loss group, Florrie's Army, which she set up after losing her own baby 8 years ago. The group offers free handprints, photographs and clothing, as well as a specialist funeral service.
I was sat with my dead baby, you know, we'd only lost him the night before. So we sat in this room and I get this phone call off of Amy, just basically telling me that she's got a lovely home from home setting and it's a 24-hour service and it's a beautiful place for Blue to rest.
Zoe agreed to Florrie's Army organising Blue's funeral. She says she was expecting his body to be kept in dedicated premises, not Amy Upton's living room.
The first thing I seen was Blue in the chair and her bouncing him, but then I glanced over, there's a cat scratcher in the corner, I can hear a dog barking, and there was another baby on the sofa, which wasn't a nice sight. I've rang my mum and I'm saying, this isn't right, I don't want him here. I was screaming down the phone, it's mucky, it's dirty, he can't stay here.
Amy Upton has access to a special cot with electrical cooling pads, which she uses at her home and lends out to bereaved families. However, the BBC has seen messages and photographs too graphic to share, indicating that babies aren't always kept in the cold cot.
There are no legal requirements around how bodies should be stored, although best practice says they should be kept in a clean and clinical environment between 4 and 7 degrees Celsius.
This couple asked Florrie's Army to arrange their daughter's funeral after she was stillborn at St James's Hospital in January this year. They'd heard positive feedback about Amy Upton and reviews on social media were good.
In the hospital, you couldn't knock her. She did everything that we needed her to do, like getting more copies of hands and footprints, dressing the baby.
The parents claim they were led to believe their daughter's body was being kept at this funeral home in Headingley until the burial. Yet 10 days later, they discovered she'd been moved without their consent to Amy's terraced house, 5 miles away.
Well, I thought, why? I don't understand why she's there. Yeah, I did. I got really, I was really paranoid about being there.
Which grew our suspicions to think that she'd been there for longer.
Panicked and confused, the couple drove across Leeds in the middle of the night to find out what was happening.
We should have sat smoking on the doorstep, and then when we'd walked in, the baby would just laid, I think she would laid on the coffin, just on the sofa.
We were so upset and angry, we just wanted the baby to be out of that house and her care.
The baby's grandma says she still can't make sense of it all.
What is she getting out of taking our baby to her house and not telling us? My daughter had to ring to find out that the baby was actually there. If I told somebody this story, they'd think it were a horror film.
In the eyes of the law, Amy Upton is doing nothing wrong. However, there are serious concerns around her professionalism. So much so that Leeds Teaching Hospitals Trust confirmed that earlier this year she was banned from all of its mortuaries and maternity wards. Amy Upton declined to answer questions put to her by the BBC, but says she's only had 2 complaints in 8 years and has helped many families. Meanwhile, West Yorkshire Police told us that extensive inquiries into both families' cases had been carried out and that no crimes were identified. The government has said parents should expect their children to be treated with dignity and respect, describing it as an awful situation. But it's only an awful situation because there's no legislation in place stopping it from being one.
So yeah, I needed to get him out.
We shared the family's stories with George Roberts from the National Society of Allied and Independent Funeral Directors.
This is a very new one on me, and it's quite shocking to hear that this happens. You want to just go to a funeral director to have a lot of pressure taken off you, know that you're in safe hands, and have a service that's professionally delivered.
The funeral sector in England and Wales is currently unregulated, leading to calls for a statutory code of conduct, such as the one introduced in Scotland in March.
I think it's wrong that I could wake up tomorrow and I could tell everyone I'm a funeral director and there's no law or anything against it.
He's quite right. He could easily go online, design his own business cards, get them printed and put them through all his neighbours' doors and just sit back and wait for the phone to ring. And that's the worrying thing about the unregulation.
Both babies were signed out of hospital by one of the Trust's authorised funeral directors, Philip Gallagher of Gallagher Funeral Services in Headingley. Mr Gallagher says he's worked on behalf of Florrie's Army for 5 years and understands that any concerns have been thoroughly investigated. He declined to answer questions about the removal of a baby's body from his premises earlier this year. The government told the BBC it was committed to ensuring funeral directors met the highest standards and that a full range of options were being considered to improve the sector.
I want a law put in. If we can't do nothing about the past, then fair enough, but like for the future, for other people what sadly lose babies, they can't go into Amy's care. It's not suitable.
Anna Crossley with that exclusive investigation. If you or someone you know has been affected by tonight's report, you can find details of organisations offering information and support with bereavement at the web address on the screen, or you can call for free at any time to hear recorded information on 08000 158 707. You're watching Wednesday evening's edition of Look North. Still ahead on tonight's programme. On the spot, or maybe not. Sometimes it takes a penalty kick to win a cup tie. Stick around, we'll have a roundup of last night's important action. Well, let's get back to that awful Moor fire. Efforts are still underway to tackle it. This afternoon, police, fire and the local council gave an update on the emergency situation so far and an idea of their plans to tackle it moving forward. North Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service say they are now fighting an area of just over 25 square kilometres. No military help has been requested, but there are 10 firefighting engines on site, plus welfare support vehicles and 60 firefighters. The fire service has asked for the National Resilience Team to be deployed. That's an extra 10 appliances, which they hope will arrive on the scene in the next few hours. The situation has also been impacted remarkably by exploding World War II bombs on a former tank training site. This meant firefighters just couldn't enter that area. Ollie Constable has spent the day in North Yorkshire and now brings us the latest as communities rally together.
So that's where it is. That fire is live over there at the moment.
Mike normally spends his day farming this land in Sneaton Thorpe, but today he's helping to coordinate a major incident near his home.
Sunday, I'm like command centre.
He's taking us up to the edge of the fire, which we're told has just jumped a fire break.
How are you doing, Bright? We're pretty full, about 3/4, because Angus brought me about 150 litres up last night.
He's not a firefighter, but his work is proving vital.
It's farmers like Mike which are doing the very important job of bringing water in these huge tankers, putting it into these makeshift bunds, which are then being pumped all the way up there, half a mile, to firefighters who are working on the front line.
Around 60 firefighters are all over the moorland here, with the fire now being 25 kilometres in size. Homes and caravan parks have already been evacuated, but for local resident Cara, she's worried she could be next.
It's like something you see on TV, you know, it was just crazy. And then it just spread, rapidly spread. Never really thought it would ever get here, to be honest. I suddenly realised we were actually in the firing line.
So yesterday it was coming in two directions, that way and down here. And we were trying to protect that farm there.
We're meeting up with a crew from Reeth, normally based in the Yorkshire Dales, almost 2 hours away. A fresh supply of water has just arrived as the fire gets closer.
This is one of those brand new fire breaks that's just been put in to try and stop that fire from advancing down the hill. Tankers here bringing lots of water to help refill the hoses.
The firemen have been amazing, the local fire brigade. The farmers are just putting themselves in really, really dangerous situations. My friends were evacuated last night from their houses. I've had to evacuate horses. I mean, even people that have taken the horses in, local horses in, there must be hundreds of horses that have been transported sort of up the road.
Across the moor and with the smoke rising behind them, this equestrian centre is providing shelter for those displaced horses.
2 horses came in yesterday morning. These were the first 2 to arrive. This is Rosie.
Karen has been inundated with calls for help.
I post on our social medias telling people they could bring their horses here if they wanted to, get them out of the smoke, direct line of the fire. And you need to stick together, and I would like to think if I was in this situation somebody would be helping out and housing my horses, and I know they would.
The community has really pulled together. Amy set up a GoFundMe page to try and help. It's now hit more than £8,000.
Set it to £100 just to get food and drinks for the firefighters and the farmers and gamekeepers and everyone else. But it's gone crazy. We spoke to some local farmers and we've decided to start putting the money towards fuel for the tractors, the farmers that are actually out there fighting the fire.
North Yorkshire Fire has said it's getting help from a national resilience team, with more support on the ground being requested. But as the fire continues to burn, Cara still wants more to be done to protect her home.
It's phenomenal what help we've had locally, but we really need it now. The word's spread that we're really struggling here, yeah.
Ollie Constable, BBC Look North, on the North York moors.
Well, meanwhile, in Whitby, just a few miles from the fire, smoke could be seen on the horizon through today with the smell of burning hanging in the air. But as ever, people have been pulling together to help, as Mark Denton reports.
On the A171, a few miles outside Whitby, you can see the fire that has now been burning for over a fortnight. While in the town itself, farmers are extracting water from the river to help fight it. A haze of smoke hangs in the air. From here, right in the centre of Whitby, you can smell the fire, an acrid smell of smoke, even here away from the moors. And as you can see, the operation to continue extracting water is continuing. At the Martin Community Centre in the town, they're collecting supplies for the emergency services fighting the fire.
I put the post on Facebook probably around about 4 o'clock yesterday. So within 24 hours, it's basically come and we've ended up with loads of stuff.
This community is 4 miles from the fire, but there are concerns here.
I think the community, I can't speak for them all, but I think they want the military or army or whoever needs to be involved now. The government needs to step up and come on board and help us out.
Are people scared?
There's a lot of scared in case it does come inland a bit more, but yeah.
North Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service says they've requested 10 more fire engines and crews from across the country, but there are no plans to ask for assistance from the military at the moment. In the meantime, North Yorkshire's elected mayor says Whitby is pulling together.
I'd just like to particularly acknowledge the patience and the cooperation of the public and the local communities who have been really affected by this fire. Our firefighters have been doing an incredible job and grateful for all their work and commitment.
This afternoon there were welcome signs of rain on the moors, but 2 weeks on, this fire continues to burn. Mark Denton, BBC Look North, Whitby.
Now, the hottest summer on record is leading to nature responding in various ways. You might have noticed some scenes like this, trees already turning yellow and dropping their leaves. So what is going on? Is it still summer, or has autumn started already? Well, there is apparently no formal definition of early autumn. We shall check that with Mr. Hudson very shortly. But experts say signs of the season, like leaves falling or apples being ready to pick, are actually nature becoming stressed by the long, hot and dry summer. And some trees are turning brown 5 weeks early. Olivia Richwald reports now from Thorpe Perrow Arboretum near Bedale.
This isn't autumn colour, this is August colour, and it's a sign these trees are stressed. It's been too hot and too dry for too long for many of these specimens used to a Yorkshire climate. The magnificent trees have gone into survival mode.
The first thing we've sort of noticed is this browning, almost like a scorch effect, where things, they look burnt, to be honest, don't they? But it's not just acers that are struggling. You know, you can see here we've got a prunus, a cherry tree, and you can see there is a little bit of colour, a little bit of change happening within the leaves, some yellowing appearing, but it's the real wilted look that it's got, this real hanging, drooping effect as well, which it's clearly struggling.
Thorpe Perrow Arboretum holds nationally important collections of trees, and some of them are sick. Conifers have dropped more needles than usual, acers have shrivelled, and these hamamelis leaves have withered.
My big worry here is the Magnolia biloba, which is this beautiful tree here. It's not only lost some of its leaves already, you can see leaves on the ground. We can see coloration, so that it's starting to absorb the chlorophyll, the green, there's yellowing appearing, there's significant dieback. For this tree, I don't just think this is the stress from this year, I also think it's a knock-on effect of stress from weather last year as well.
This summer could end up as the warmest since records began. But Faith says she isn't too worried about most of the trees here.
Nature's amazing, and I think it's resilient and it knows what it's doing. What they're doing is going dormant early because they need to preserve their energy, to concentrate on the roots, to focus on the branches. They're doing exactly what they need to do. So at this stage, I'm not too worried.
Fruit trees and blackberries have also been affected with early ripening and smaller yields, which will have a knock-on effect on birds and insects.
Well, thanks for that tour. The weather's turned and we've got drenched.
We have.
Does that mean there will be autumn colour here?
I think there will. I think we'll be seeing autumn colour into October still, definitely.
So there's lots of hope, and let it rain.
There is. Keep raining.
Olivia Richwald, BBC Look North, near Bedale.
Precipitation news very shortly with Paul Hudson, I promise. But first, a bit of sport. I think it is about time we had a look at last night's dramatic League Cup second round action. We had not one, but two local derbies, some spectacular penalty shootouts and another brilliant Bradford City performance. So, where do we start? Well, I'm afraid those sort of decisions are well above my pay grade. Oggie's going to decide.
And the answer, after much deliberation, is a mostly empty, still angry Hillsborough. Sheffield Wednesday's fans were largely absent in a crowd of less than 8,000 for the Yorkshire derby with Leeds in the latest protest against the club's owner and chairman Dafon Chansiri. But by the end, the grumpiest fans inside the stadium were actually Leeds, who watched their team go behind in the tie to an inexperienced Wednesday lineup, including 5 teenagers. Leeds did fashion an equaliser from Jayden Bogle to force penalties, not a single one of which was scored by Leeds, and Wednesday helped by their excellent new goalie Ethan Horvath, only needed to take 3 to win, celebrated mostly in Wednesdayites' homes across the city, for reasons we know. For Huddersfield Town, another penalty shootout, another scalp, this time Premier League Sunderland. But first, enjoy, if you will, Leo Castledine's very sweet volley to put Huddersfield ahead early on. Sunderland equalised to force a shootout. After 6 out of 6 successful penalties, Sunderland's 6th was saved by Lee Nichols to settle it the Terriers' way. Doncaster Rovers had no problems at Accrington, although Rovers waited until the final quarter of the match to secure a 2-0 passage into round 3. Captain Owen Bailey came off the bench to head home a corner for the first, and then he set up Ben Close to make it 2 and seal the victory on 82 minutes. Bradford City continued to test our store of superlatives. Still unbeaten in League One, City smashed their way into tonight's third-round draw by beating another Championship team, this time Stoke, 3-0. Will Swan's goal was his 4th of the season already. Brad Halliday and George Lapsley added 2 more either side of the break, and Bradford now surely deserve a Premier League opponent in the next round. At Oakwell, a lively South Yorkshire derby went Barnsley's way, despite Rotherham United scoring first through Aryan Imata. Barnsley got back into it thanks to John Russell, before Adam Phillips grabbed the Reds' winner in a tie that showed both the neighbours' fresh new qualities this season. Paul Ogden, BBC Look North.
Thanks, Paul. It has been a breakneck start to the season, hasn't it? Now, last night we had the wedding present on the programme. Tonight we continue to burnish our muso credentials because we're going to rock out with one of America's biggest acts. They're set to play 2 nights in South Yorkshire. Best known for hits including No One Knows and Go With The Flow, Queens of the Stone Age are headlining the rock and roll circus at the Don Valley Bowl in Sheffield. Their frontman says his friendship with some of the city's homegrown talent has inspired the visit.
Queens of the Stone Age have been making music for almost 30 years. Founded by lead singer Josh Homme, who also plays guitars, keyboards and drums, tonight they'll play in Sheffield, and I caught up with him just before he headed up to Yorkshire.
And I don't get to go to the north of England much, and so I don't know, I feel like heading into new places like Sheffield, where my mates are from, just, I don't know, that's romantic enough for me to want to do it.
And those mates are the Arctic Monkeys. Josh is hoping the Yorkshire audience are as much fun as his talented friends.
They're from the hard-working north. Well, they make steel and, have dirt under your fingernails because you've done a hard day's thing. I can relate to that. Well, the feeling I have towards my mates and the Monkeys, really, the people of Sheffield, I already have this natural extension of that we're kind of already friends. I'm not too sure if that's foolish or just naive, but this is how I feel. Like why wouldn't everyone else be just like the friends I have here,
This is Rock and Roll Circus, where Queens of the Stone Age are headlining over the next 2 nights. It's a music festival in a big top, with the added twists of circus performers and entertainers.
Things that are too normal are, well, frankly, they're too normal. And they seem pointless if you do them after a while. So I just need a little wiggle, a little jiggle to have something new,
That love of the unusual has taken them to some unique locations. The band recently performed in the Paris catacombs. But when they get off stage tomorrow, Josh is hoping he can explore Sheffield, and he's asked the Arctic Monkeys for some travel tips.
It was very cute, actually. There was a lot of, we should go, mate. Actually, don't go there. And so it was a very cute attempt to educate me and then saying, no, man, don't go there. Go over. So it was a very short list. I'm just looking forward to hanging with their folks. They have, at the end of the day, all this is about family. And if you haven't got one, make one. And if you can't make one, find some. And so although I've never been there, there's a bit of me that feels like it going home a bit. So, yeah.
Abby Jola reporting there. I hope they get to go home with a bottle of Hendo's, although good luck getting that through customs. Well, bit of rain, not maybe as much rain as we were expecting, particularly not on the North York Moors.
No, I mean, in fact, we've got a Met Office station up at Filendale. It's only 3.4 millimetres. It looked livelier than that on the radar picture, but got some dramatic pictures. This was sent in from Fred from Scarborough Castle. That was sent in last night. A pretty dramatic picture there. And this was the scene at midday. That's taken from Sands End, looking southwards. You can see Whitby down there. You can see plumes of smoke drifting into the North Sea.
A fair old distance away, Sands End, as well, isn't it?
Absolutely, yes. So it's going to take a lot more rain to calm that down, that's for sure. There is some rain in the forecast, more of that in a moment. But if you've got any pictures you'd like to send in, the addresses are on your screen right now. So tomorrow, probably a similar day to today. A fine start with some sunshine, and then we'll see scattered showers breaking out, especially through the afternoon. So low pressure in charge. Another day of sun intervals, scattered showers to come on Friday, and then later on Saturday we're going to have a developing system coming in from the Atlantic. So after a fine start Saturday morning, this will bring several millimetres of rain in from the southwest, which will be useful. There's the weather front that brought just 3.4 millimetres over the North York Moors, nowhere near enough, followed by a clearance. There's one or two showers in there, one or two thunderstorms as well, but basically we all become mostly dry overnight, just one or two showers creeping in to the Yorkshire Dales, but most of us will be fine, and we'll see lowest temperatures tonight down to 9 or 10 degrees Celsius. So tomorrow's high water times in Scarborough at 7:47, Bridlington at 8 minutes past 8. So a fine start, a dry start. There'll be plenty of sunshine around in the morning, just the odd shower in the west, but then the shower clouds bubble up. The afternoon, a mixture of sunny spells and scattered showers. One or two of those showers could be heavy with the risk of the odd rumble of thunder, but the breeze will be pushing those showers through. So plenty of dry, bright weather in between any showers you might come across. Temperatures around 20 Celsius, that's 68 Fahrenheit. It stays unsettled. A showery outlook Friday, a few showers. Good fine periods too. Saturday, a bright start, rain later, and then it's back to sunny intervals and showers Sunday and into next week. That is the forecast, Tom.
That band on Saturday cannot come soon enough for the North York Moors, can it not?
And it is moving through quickly, though, unfortunately.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed. Thank you very much indeed. That's as far as we go for Wednesday evening. I shall be back tonight at 10:30 from your evening team. Bye for now.